Good evening. Welcome to this edition of Month in Review. I'm Petty Officer Tony DeFilippo, and in tonight's newscast, we're going to recap the top stories from Sasebo and Kanto for the month of April. Our top story tonight, Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Rick West, paid a visit to Sasebo. Seaman Andrew Frisbee followed along with the MiGPON and has more.
Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Rick West, visited Fleet Activities Sasebo to talk to sailors as part of a tour of the Pacific region.
The reason for my visit to Sasebo was one, and most important, was to visit the sailors down here. And I have to tell you, it's been a great visit. Sailors doing a wonderful job down here for us.
MiGPON West encouraged sailors to take advantage of the opportunities they have in the Navy.
Take a look around this great Navy, the things you're getting to go do, the operations that we're conducting, the fact that we're out here forward deployed, doing some great stuff. I mean, that's what being a sailor is all about, and I love it.
MiGPON West motivated sailors across CFAS, helping them to overcome whatever difficulties they may face. Seaman Andrew Frisbee, Sasebo, Japan.
While the MiGPON was visiting Sasebo to meet with sailors, the highlight of his tour was the hull swap between USS Essex and USS Bonham Richard. I went to the exchange of command ceremony and have the story on how these hull swaps keep the forward deployed fleet mission ready.
Bonham Richard arriving.
Fleet Activities Sasebo held a ceremony to complete the hull swap between USS Bonham Richard and USS Essex, making BHR the flagship of the 7th Fleet Amphibious Force.
Clearly, it was a very strenuous set of events that we had to plan and execute, and now we're here on our new ship, and I can see it already that the crews are excited about now making Bonham Richard their own.
Forward deployed ships carry out a rigorous workload, and hull swaps help to keep them mission ready.
The ships are seeing a much higher op tempo in the forward deployed environment, and the Navy needs to make sure that we have those most capable assets available so that they can be utilized.
BHR will continue to carry out the mission of the forward deployed naval force while in Sasebo. Petty Officer Tony DeFilippo, Sasebo, Japan. Now we move from the big gray ships in Sasebo to the black ships in Yokosuka. But we're not talking about floating warships. We're talking about a small temple in Shimoda, Japan that reveals a huge part of history. Petty Officer Mike Story explains more.
U.S. Navy officials visited the Gyokusenji Temple in Shimoda, Japan in appreciation for restoring and preserving 5 gravesites of U.S. military members who passed away while on duty in the mid-1800s, known as the Black Ship's Cruise Gravesite.
I think the care and the attention to detail and the fact that, for 150 years, this temple has really taken care of these grave sites. It speaks volumes, I think, to the relationship that we have with Japan. We're very thankful and appreciative of their effort and the care that they've given to our sailors and Marines.
The temple holds a significant place in history as the first U.S. consulate and the first gravesite for foreigners in Japan, based on the U.S.-Japan Treaty of Amity in 1854.
I think the best expression of my deep responsibility I felt was that I will look back on that I was the one who oversaw what I called the Great Heisei Restoration Project for the graves, which mean so much to both our countries because, as I mentioned before, the graves are part of this temple, which is symbolic of where the formal relationship between Japan and the United States in the modern era actually started.
To what was then a typical country temple, caught in a whirlpool of world history, now serves as an icon of peace and alliance between Japan and the United States. Petty Officer Michael Story, Yokosuka Naval Base, Japan.
Being stationed overseas often gives sailors the chance to celebrate holidays and other events with their host nations. In Sasebo, sailors gathered together with host nationals to celebrate the Sakura Matsuri, or Cherry Blossom Festival. MC2 Sean Lenahan went to the festival and has the story.
Sailors and their families from Fleet Activities Sasebo joined with the Sasebo community for the Cherry Blossom Friendship Festival.
The cherry blossoms, to me, represent a deep friendship between our two great nations, and it gets deeper by the day.
Last year, at about this time, I was in Afghanistan, so to be here with my family at an event like this, we're just really enjoying it.
There was music, games, and local food for everyone to enjoy.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to come to Japan, like a place so beautiful like this. So just go out and explore, have an adventure.
The Navy celebrates festivals like this one with their host nations to build better bonds.
Thank you very much.
Petty Officer Sean Linehan, Sasebo, Japan.
While Sasebo sailors had that opportunity to learn about their host nation's culture, students at Yokosuka learned about how math and science are used in a variety of careers through the Science, Technology, and Engineering, or STEM conference. Petty Officer Chris Henry has more.
Girls from Yokosuka Middle School visited Seabees at Fleet Activities Yokosuka and learned how Seabees use math as they finished building a Japanese lantern as part of the Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, or STEM conference, which emphasizes the importance of math and science to young girls. LaWanda Young explains why the Seabees chose lanterns to demonstrate math skills.
We wanted a project that was hands-on, not too complicated, but complicated enough to challenge the girls in what they were doing.
For Michaela Edge, science and math is a love-hate relationship.
Well, I love science, but I really don't have a liking for math.
Working with the Seabees brought out a practical side of math.
Yes, I learned about the measurements and stuff, and I see how it helps us today.
The girls also visited special agents at NCIS who demonstrated how science and math are used every day when working with fingerprints or analyzing blood spatter patterns, as Special Agent Erica Mariner explains.
Science and math tends to be mostly dominated by males, and I think it's important for them to see role models such as myself and the other female special agents to show them that science is fun and it is useful and it helps us to do a very interesting, important job.
For Alyssa Kiriaga, the STEM conference was a success.
I think school should be like this, more like you get to travel to different places and see other careers and how math and science actually involve in other places and careers.
Petty Officer Chris Henry, Yokosuka Naval Base, Japan.
It's been a rainy few days here in Sasebo. What can we expect for the upcoming weekend? Let's take a look at your local weather forecast and find out whether or not we'll need our umbrellas.
Here's your 3-day weather forecast and current exchange rate for the Sasebo and Kanto areas.
New service members and dependents at Fleet Activities Sasebo are given a 1-week period of briefs and lessons to help them learn what to expect while living in Sasebo. Seaman Andrew Frisbee attended the guided tour to see what the attendees are learning while traveling around the city.
Service members and dependents took a tour of Sasebo as a part of Fleet Activities Sasebo's base indoctrination. The tour helped the attendees get a sense of culture and direction in their new surroundings.
Each time we turn, I ask the students, where's the base? So when they listen to me and when they look around, they're going to get familiar with where they are.
The tour helped those in attendance to get a sense of the locations around Sasebo and how to locate the base during their travels.
My family and I are planning to move off base, so it definitely helps as far as finding our way around and things of that nature.
It's important for service members and dependents to understand the culture of their surroundings and how to get around the area. The tour ensures that the participants will know how to find their way. Seaman Andrew Frisbee, Sasebo, Japan.
The tour covered 4 different sites around Sasebo, including Hario Housing, the train station, Hastenbosch, and the Hachiman Shrine on Route 35. And that does it for this edition of Month in Review. If you missed any portion of this newscast, we'll be posting it to our Facebook tomorrow morning. You can also find us on YouTube at AFN Sasebo, Japan. Tune in next Thursday at the same time for AFN's monthly travel show, Kyushu Explorer, where Petty Officers Jackson and Waters will be showing you around some awesome zoos around Kyushu. I'm Petty Officer Tony DeFilippo, and from all of us here at AFN Sasebo, thank you for watching and have a great evening.